The following is a Simpronto media production.
Leaders, real life leaders.
Hey guys, this episode is from the Grow and Scale Now Summit, where top entrepreneurs and leaders are going to help you take your business to the next level. To get your free ticket, go to growandscalenow.com. Now to the episode.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode, and we have Chris Boutte of Bell and Ivy, and we're going to be talking about how to use YouTube to monetize and grow and scale your business. So welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel yourself and how you've built it and what you've done to monetize it.
All right. Yeah. So obviously I work for Bell Ivy. I manage content and not only websites, but a lot of it is, helping out our clients with growing their YouTube channel. So personally, I have a mental health YouTube channel called the Rewired Soul. And in a matter of, within my first year and a half to 2 years, I grew it to a little over 80,000 subscribers. I do that on the side in my extra time, and it's a good extra source of income. And I would love to help people learn how to do that, because right now there is just so much opportunity out there, during these difficult times, to bring in a little bit more and create your own personal brand and get yourself out there.
Okay. So let's talk about someone, if they want to kind of build their audience, what is it that they need to do?
So
first let's stop. Hold on. Oh. Let's backtrack. First, how do you define your audience? Because I think sometimes what people are doing is they're just too broad. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people want to reach everybody, and there's that old saying in marketing, like when you try to target everybody, you get nobody. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they kind of fall into that YouTube trap. Specifically where, they just want to kind of record their daily life. And while there is, there are people out there who would love to watch that, it's so saturated, right? So you have to kind of sit there and think, like, who do I want to help? Who do I want to reach? Who is my target audience? Like, you got to narrow it down, and eventually it gets a little bit broader as you start to gain some traction. So for me personally, I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I've been sober since 2012. And one of my just missions in life is just helping other people who are struggling, right? With just, whether it's depression, anxiety, addiction, or having a loved one who is, or whatever. So those are the two main people I'm targeting: people who are struggling, or people who know somebody who is, and they want to help them, right? So that's how I've kind of narrowed down my audience. But just in the broad scope of thing, I think, when somebody's sitting down to set up the YouTube channel and everything like that, they need to have this very clear, defined person that they want to capture the attention of, So no matter what the niche is. So let's say it's cooking, right? Like, you want to target, men who are trying to learn how to cook, or, women who are trying to learn how to cook. Are you trying to target people who already know how to cook and just want to add a little extra flavor to it? Get that in your mind, because when you sit down on camera, it helps you have that conversation a little bit better, because YouTube really feels like this kind of one-on-one thing.
So, okay. So, I own my own real estate company, but I also am really passionate about intermittent fasting, because it's helped me to lose over 30 pounds.
Ooh,
and
congratulations.
I've kept it off. So yes, thank you. And so I have something called Waste Away. I wrote a book called Waste Away, and I have another book that I wrote, Fasting to Freedom, that's all about intermittent fasting and all about fasting. So I think my YouTube channel is Waste Away through intermittent fasting. But would you suggest that I change it to something like the Intermittent Fasting Institute to kind of make it sound more like, what would you?
So with that, like, as far as like the channel name and things, it kind of depends. Like, when I hear Institute, it's like, okay, Is this going to be like a program, or are there going to be lessons and classes? You know what I mean?
Hey guys, I want to take a minute real quick to tell you about this retreat that I'm putting together. It's going to be just 10 lucky people that I'm going to select, and we are going to stay in a 5-star resort in Miami, and it's going to be pamper time. But the most important thing, I'm going to open up my books. I'm going to show you everything. You're going to leave there with my Word docs. You're going to leave with a USB drive with all the information that I've possibly done, every system in place. A lot of times you go to these conferences, you get all jazzed up, but you don't walk away with anything. You're going to walk away with this retreat with tons of systems. Go to chantelray.com/retreat to learn more. Hey guys, I want to take a minute real quick to tell you about this retreat that I'm putting together. It's going to be just 10 lucky people that I'm going to select, and we are going to stay in a 5-star resort in Miami, and it's going to be pamper time. But the most important thing, I'm going to open up my books. I'm going to show you everything. You're going to leave there with my Word docs. You're going to leave with a USB drive with all the information that I've possibly done, every system in place. A lot of times you go to these conferences, you get all jazzed up, but you don't walk away with anything. You're going to walk away with this retreat with tons of systems. Go to chantelray.com/retreat to learn more.
Calling all entrepreneurs, leaders, and business owners. Are you looking to grow and scale your business to help more people, increase your profits, and build the business of your dreams? Then you need to attend the Grow and Scale Now Summit, a free virtual event where you can learn from top leaders and thinkers who have grown and scaled their businesses by the millions. Unlock your potential and discover the secrets to take your business to the next level. Click the link in the show notes to claim your free ticket.
But whenever it comes to like a specific name, like for example, my YouTube channel is called The Rewired Soul. I kind of thought broad. So you're an author as well. Like I actually started self-publishing my own books, and that was before I came up with The Rewired Soul, and I wanted to think about, if this thing gets to where I want it to be, will this kind of cover me? I actually think you have a great name, but the Institute name, that could be cool.
So you like the waste away. You like the waste away through intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I dig that. And especially because intermittent fasting is like a huge thing. I hear about it all the time, Mm-hmm. So the only thing I would recommend is when sitting down to record, it's like, who do you want to target? And what I found, especially with YouTube, is people want to find someone they can relate to. So they like to hear stories and things like that. Like, where were you? What was going on when you decided to lose this weight? What was happening in your life? And then kind of, was it difficult at first? You know what I mean? Because for me, when I'm sharing about mental health and addiction recovery, it's easy for me to sit where I'm at now and discuss what I'm currently doing. But I think what's most important is going back to the early struggles, when people want to give up, when people don't want to do things. And that kind of builds that connection. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, there have been studies that say, if they want to say, let's say they're wanting to get more involved in YouTube, what do they need to do? Like, what would be the next piece they need to do for getting on? Like, they have their channel, they have their name. Let's say, for mine, it's, waste away through intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. So what would be their next steps? Like, what do they need to do if let's say they only have 5,000 subscribers right now? Mm-hmm. What do they need to do to fix that?
So the biggest thing that helped me was really learning how the YouTube algorithm worked, right? So the number one search engine is Google. The number two search engine is YouTube, right? So just having that kind of rough knowledge, like I'm not huge into SEO, search engine optimization, but I know enough. And just knowing enough gives you the leg up over the competition, right? Like I saw my channel grow rapidly because I would look at other YouTube channels who were doing something similar. Maybe they even put out great content, but nobody was seeing it, right? Like what's the point of making this beautiful piece of art if nobody's going to see it, right? So I would recommend learning the YouTube YouTube algorithm, like just the basics real quick, it's your title, your description, and your tags. Those are the three things. The more information you give that algorithm so it knows who to send your videos to, right? Because it's also important to kind of look at your own user behavior. Like, how do you find videos on YouTube? Are you more of a search person, or do you just click on the next recommended video? And the more you watch YouTube, the more it starts recommending, right? So there are some tools out there that can help you with this. The one that I personally use is called TubeBuddy. And that's a Google Chrome plugin. I think it's a Firefox plugin as well. But when you are in the back end after you upload your video, it'll help you figure out the right title. It'll help you figure out the right tags to use. So you're doing intermittent fasting, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe you put in intermittent fasting. It'll start popping up recommendations like what people are searching for, like what is intermittent fasting, right? Does intermittent fasting work, you know? And sometimes you got to kind of like baby it along a little bit, and you got to take a step back and say, okay, if I was somebody looking up this stuff, or when you were first getting into intermittent fasting, I think it'd be a good idea to sit back and say, what was I looking for? What were the questions that I had, right? And then you slip those into the tags, but the primary phrase that you want to focus on should be somewhere in the title, you know? So for me, for example, maybe it's how to stay sober for 30 days, right? Like that's something people are looking for. I'll put that in the title. I'll put that in the tags. But in the tags, you get 500 characters, so you could put a bunch more stuff like how to stay sober from alcohol, how to stay sober from prescription medications, how to stay sober from this. And then I can do the same thing with, you know, overcoming depression, anxiety, and everything like that.
Hope you enjoyed this episode from the Grow and Scale Now Summit. Again, you can get your free ticket now at growandscalenow.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Life Leadership. If you'd like to get the show notes or access more resources, log on to reallifeleaders.com/podcast to get the show notes from this episode and any other resources we might have mentioned. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to review or rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts to help spread the word. And if you have any leadership questions you want answered, email podcast@reallifeleaders.com.